win $500,000 daily. Simply activate the Digicel Prime bundle and enter the draw to win $500,000 every day. We have $5 million up for grabs. Terms and conditions apply. Digicel, better together.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. Stabroek Block operator ESSO has informed local authorities that it intends to burn 120 million standard cubic feet of gas per day for 3 months during the startup of the Yellowtail project. ESSO made this disclosure in the project's environmental impact assessment. The company also thought it prudent to advise local authorities that in its home country, the U.S., flaring offshore may occur for up to 1 year with regulatory approval. Should the EPA approve this, it would mean that ExxonMobil will burn 10.8 billion standard cubic feet of gas in 3 months. This would be more than half of the gas that was flared via the Liza Destiny vessel from December 2019 to September 2021. Which totals approximately 17 billion standard cubic feet of gas. ESSO was keen to note that the oil vessel for Yellowtail has been designed to re-inject associated gas under routine conditions, except that which will be used as fuel gas, flare pilot gas, and background flare gas. And now let's tell you, one day after the World Bank recommended that Guyana should invest more in sea defense or relocate its coastal population, Minister of Finance Dr. Ashni Singh said that the wholesale relocating of coastal residents will be complicated and costly. He noted that the reality is that a lot of the country's economic activities are located on the coast and acres of agricultural lands. In light of the escalating drastic impacts of climate change, including ocean and sea level rising, Guyana has been identified as one of 3 Caribbean countries that needs to urgently, in the absence of appropriate funding and asset management systems for adequately maintaining coastal protection infrastructure, consider alternative strategies, including natural barriers and managed relocation. The World Bank warned that Guyana must invest better in sea defense or relocate coastal residents as it listed Georgetown among 9 cities to be flooded by 2030. In other news, a fire that razed several petrochemical-based companies in Trinidad and Tobago's natural gas industrial zone at Point Laces has underscored the potential dangers ahead for Guyana as the government moves ahead with the controversial gas-to-shore project at Wales on the west bank of Demerara. This is according to environmentalist Ms. Melinda Janke. Janke pointed out that even experienced gas producers like Russia and the USA had gas accidents like Trinidad, while noting that a fire or gas explosion at Wales would threaten the lives of residents and destroy property. As such, she was adamant that the government simply cannot justify spending $1 billion to put people in danger. And moving on. VAT and excise tax collections grew by $8.9 billion or 21.5% when compared with the level at the end of June 2020. This is according to the Ministry of Finance mid-year report. The report states that VAT increased by $1.2 billion to $27.4 billion when compared with the same period in 2020. The growth reflected in this area was primarily due to a $1.8 billion increase in VAT collections from imported goods and services, outweighing the $0.6 billion contraction in VAT collections for domestic supplies. And moving on, with Vice President Bharat Jagdeo recently confirming Guyana's interest in accessing up to $1.5 billion from China for a range of domestic infrastructure projects, Beijing has reciprocated, calling for a deepening of trade and economic ties between the two countries. This was disclosed by Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Foreign Affairs Minister Hugh Todd highlighted that collaboration between Guyana and China continues to grow stronger and spoke of the quote-unquote significant contributions made by China to Guyana's development agenda, especially in the public infrastructure sector. The foreign minister referenced China's role in projects in Guyana such as the Arthur Chung Convention Center, the still to be completed airport expansion, and the construction of major roads and bridges, among other initiatives. In other news, Attorney General Anil Nandlal, in his oral presentation before the High Court, argued on Wednesday that because the life of the Police Service Commission expired on August 8, the constitutional body has no jurisdiction to continue with the case filed to challenge its suspension by President Irfan Ali. Nandlal drew the court's attention to Article 226 of the Constitution and its various sub-articles. He said that a reading of those articles conclude that the decisions of the PSC are made by votes and that it can only act if there is a quorum. He added that the Commission can only act if it has a quorum. In referentially, he said if the Commission is not constituted, it cannot have a quorum in law and therefore it cannot act. According to him, when legal proceedings are launched, they cannot continue on autopilot. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Diana, join me.